Hello and welcome back to Jesus as Soul. My name is Shimon Klinger. I'm so happy you're here. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button. We really appreciate your participation as that helps us expand and get this information to as many people as we possibly can. I also want you guys to know that we have created a Facebook page. So if you want to join that and you can have discussions about these ideas and other ideas that you have either about Christianity, Kabbalah, the Zohar, and so forth, I invite you to do that. That link is in the description box. In this particular video, my friends, we are going to access the light of the Zohar in order to be able to draw souls into this world. Sometimes, and for some couples, getting pregnant can be a major difficulty. The Zohar is a book of light. And even though it has an intellectual meaning, the Kabbalists teach us that the true power of the Zohar is found in the Aramaic letters. Underneath the actual text, the book is pure light. In fact, the Kabbalists teach us that the Zohar is the most powerful spiritual energy that we have in this world. And when we access it, not only are we illuminating the light that exists within us, but we are also feeding and providing this spiritual light to the world. The Zohar also has specific places within it that unblock areas of our life. And so in this particular section that we're about to read right now, what it does is it makes it easier to draw children and to get pregnant. This section was illuminated by Master Kabbalist Rav Berg and was given to a particular student who was having difficulty getting pregnant. It has since then been given to everyone else that we may access this wisdom in order to draw children into our lives, and specifically spiritual children who are naturally inclined towards spirituality. For we know that maybe the most important thing that we can do is teach spirituality to our kids so that they can grow up and not only make good lives for themselves, but they can bring light and reveal light to this entire world. The Zohar portion that we are going to read is from volume 6 in the Kabbalah Center English Zohar version. It comes from the portion of Vayagash in volume number 6. We're going to be reading the second chapter within that, and that is entitled, "These are the generations of Jacob." So let's read the relevance of this passage. Joseph corresponds to the Sephirah of Yesod, the portal and gateway through which all of the light of the upper worlds flow into our world. The patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, denote this spiritual realm, whereas Joseph signifies the funnel through which the sacred light emerges into physical reality. Here, we connect ourselves to this cosmic funnel, where we receive divine light and effulgent light that shines in the upper worlds. The number 17 is the numerical value of the Hebrew word for good, tov. Thus, forces of goodness are amassed and drawn into our lives through the mystical powers attached to the number 17, as expounded upon in this passage. Within our body, Yesod corresponds to the sexual organs, reproductive organs. And so therefore, if we connect to Yesod, this allows the light to open up areas of our life regarding children. And so as we do this, either we can meditate for ourselves to draw children into this life, or if we know people who need the assistance of this light to unblock any blockages in our life, let's keep them in mind as we do our reading for today. So let's begin. Verse number 21. Ele todo Yaakov Yosef Ekumel Batar de Itashev Yosef by Yaakov de Istavag Chimsha Basachara Kaden Sarah Le Shara La Amad La Le Ma'abad Todot Uman Ihu de Aved Todot Hadar Veyomer Yosef de Har Hu Nahar Venaged Nafek Ihu Aved Todot Bagim Belapeskim Moy Le Amin de Ihu Aved Todot Bachai Eretz Umine Defkin Todot Le Ama. Verse number 21. These are the generations of Jacob, Joseph. After Joseph settled in Jacob, and the sun, which is Zeranpin, mated with the moon, which is the Nukva, he began to produce generations. And who is he that brings forth offspring? The scripture continues saying, Joseph. For the river that flows and comes out of Eden is Yesod, that is designated as Joseph. It is he who is the progenitor of the offspring, because his waters never cease to flow. What this verse is telling us is that whenever we read about Joseph within the Torah, within the first 5 books of Moses, that Joseph corresponds and is the chariot for the Sephirah of Yesod. These are Kabbalistic ideas. Basically, the Sephirah of Yesod is the channel through which all light of the Creator flows into the world. Verse number 22. Dechashim shaf afagav da ikara besichra la aved ibim bar hahud darga da ikre sadik Yosef ichud darga de Yaakov lamabad ibim ve lafakat todin leumin uvgin kakativ eletodot Yaakov Yosef. English 22. The sun, who is Zeranpin, unites with the moon, the Nukva, but can only bear fruit on the grade that is called righteous, and on no other grade, namely Yesod. Thus it is called Joseph, who is the grade of Jacob, who can bear fruit and bring forth generations to the world. Thus it is written, these are the generations of Joseph. If you are listening to this and you don't understand what it is saying, it's okay. Again, remember, the power of the Zohar is found in the vibration of the Hebrew letters and not necessarily in the intellectual understanding. So we are simply using the Zohar to connect to the power of the light force of God through which the Zohar provides us. Aramaic 23. Ele todot Yaakov Yosef. Kal man deava mistakal diukne de Yosef ava amar dada hu diukna de Yaakov. Tachaze divkachu bane Yaakov lachativ ele todot Yaakov. Ruven bar Yosef diukne de me diukna de avoy. Verse number 23. These are the generations of Jacob, Joseph. Another interpretation is that anyone who gazed at the facial image of Joseph thought it was the facial image of Jacob. Come and behold. It is not written this way when referring to any other children of Jacob. For example, it is not written, these are the generations of Jacob, Reuben, or Shimon, etc. Only in reference to Joseph is it written, these are the generations of Jacob, Joseph. The reason is that the facial image of Joseph was the same as his father's image. Aramaic 24, verse 24. Ben Sheva Shana. Amar Rabbi Abba Ramaz Lekuchabrechu Tacha Kaditaved Mine Yosef Ben Sheva Asrei Shanim Hava B'chol Nun Yomim Da'ish Ta'aru Dalachama Leila Yosef Hava B'chei Alei Al Inun Sheva Shreshanim Bechama Teva B'chei Alei Kuchabrechu Yechev Le Sheva Shreshanim Achronin Da'i Kayem Be'arada Mitrayim Bechadu Be'ikara Uvshlimod Achola B'rei Yosef Hava Malka B'chol B'noi Kameh Havo Inun Sheva Asrei Shanim Havo Chayin Legabe Uvkin Kak Ben Sheva Asrei Shana Hava Ichu Kaditaved Mine. English, verse number 24. Joseph being 17 years old. This comes from Genesis 37:2. Rabbi Abba said that the Holy One, blessed be He, indicated to Jacob that Joseph was 17 years old at the time he was lost. All the days that remained after he reached 17 years old, during which time he did not see Joseph, Jacob was crying over him. Because he was crying during those years, the Holy One, blessed be He, gave him another 17 years, during which he lived in the land of Egypt with happiness, honor, and fulfillment. So what the verse is telling us is that when Joseph was sold by his brothers, Jacob, his father, cried for 17 years, and what the Zohar is telling us here is that because he cried for those 17 years, he was then given 17 years of happiness and goodness after he joined Joseph, when Joseph was basically the king, when Joseph was the second in command to Pharaoh in Egypt. Jacob and the rest of the brothers came and lived there. And Jacob got 17 years of happiness because of the 17 years that he cried. His son, Joseph, was king, and all of his sons were there before him. Those 17 years were considered as life for him. Hence, the text informs us that Joseph was 17 years of age when he lost him. So this concludes our Zohar reading for today. Thank you guys very much. Again, this particular section is specifically used to unblock any spiritual blockages that may prevent us from getting pregnant, may prevent us from drawing children, specifically righteous children, into this world. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. Have an amazing day. I love you all. See you guys all soon.